Hello, this is Pastor Manning bringing you the Beacon of Hope podcast, bringing you a Friday musing. What's a little unusual about it is I am re-recording it actually on a Saturday because there was a technical glitch and I recorded 7 minutes and a few seconds of nothing on the previous podcast. But what I had given was a thought entitled Vehemence or Victory. And it is taken from the book of Mark, and particularly chapter 14. Jesus, as they were going to Gethsemane, he let his disciples know that he was going to be betrayed and that he was going to die, and he was going to be betrayed into the hands of sinners. And he had given this admonition there. He said, verse 27, and Jesus saith unto them, all ye, speaking to the disciples, shall be offended because of me this night. For it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep will be scattered. And then he talks to him about after his resurrection. But Peter, that really bothered him, and it says in verse 29, but Peter said unto him, although all men shall be offended, yet will not I. And Jesus saith unto him, verily I say unto thee, that this day, even in this night, before the cock crow twice, thou shalt deny me thrice. But he spake the more vehemently, if I should die with thee, I will not deny thee in any wise. Likewise also said they all. And then, verse 50, after you read all the way down to that, verse 50 is brief but powerful. It says, and they all forsook him and fled. Of course, we know Peter, as he went and followed afar off, he would eventually end up denying the Lord 3 times. The thing is that caught my attention with that was the fact that he spake the more vehemently. To speak vehemently is to speak above what is needed. Intensity, proclamations, what you say you're going to do, what you say you're not going to do, going above and beyond. It's not just being overly dramatic in your speech, although it includes that, but it's also, there's almost a savage intensity to the way it's delivered. And Jesus had said that they were all going to forsake him. Peter turns around and contradicts the Lord and says, well, yeah, they'll all forsake you, but I won't. And in that prideful statement, Jesus pulls him up short and says specifically to Peter, no, you're going to deny me 3 times tonight. And Peter begins to speak more vehemently. I won't. I'll die with you, but I won't deny you, not in any wise. In other words, there's no way I'll deny you in any way at all. And yet we do know that he denied to a point of even denying that he knew who Jesus was. He said, I know not the man. Disclaimed even any knowledge or acquaintance of Jesus. Well, my point isn't to heap guilt upon Peter, Peter's actions and what happens afterwards, and Peter's tears and how the Lord loved him and the usefulness that Peter was put to later speak for themselves. But the point is that vehemence, this bold, almost thumping of the chest, here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I won't do. Here's my stand. Here's how strong I am. That has nothing to do with victory in the Christian life. In fact, it's the it's usually the warning thunders of the storm coming in someone's soul. The vehemence is not strength. It's weakness. In fact, it's got to be very loud and very assertive in its manner to try to overcome the inherent deficit that's there. In contrast to this, you have Daniel. Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself. And he was willing to die. He didn't tell anybody that. He never mentions that. But he faced a possible death sentence for not eating what the king had given to him. And so here, in order to keep God's dietary laws, he had purposed that he would not defile himself. And the covenant was between him and God God knew it, and Daniel knew it. But Daniel's approach to those in authority over him when the situation came was that he requested, that's the Bible word, of them that they do thus and such. He didn't boast. He didn't say, I'll die, you can't make me eat this. He just did what he should do and kept a calm, strong position. Later on, when he's in excess of 70 years old, he faces a den of lions the same way, knowing for certain that he's going to be arrested for praying to his God. He went into his room, opened his window toward Jerusalem, and prayed as he had done aforetime. He didn't make a show of it. He didn't say, I'm going to do this and nobody can stop me. He didn't do any of that. He just did what he had determined by the word of God that he should do. Vehemence, this braggadocio, this machoism, this defiance, this outward overstating, telling everybody how strong we are, telling everybody what great standards we have, telling everybody how rock-ribbed we are and what we believe. And it's a bunch of bluster and nonsense is what it is. And it isn't victory. Real victory is purpose that will withstand storms when it comes, because it is founded in the Word of God, and it is rooted and grounded in the Word of God, and it doesn't require vehemence. It just requires obedience. Just some thoughts I had on a Friday. I hope the Lord gives you a good day. May you be blessed.